They won't want to fall to 0-2. That would be the end of the line for Kazakhstan or Chinese Taipei today. It's game day 2 of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship here in Changsha. Chinese Taipei making their 23rd appearance in the competition, having won a couple of silvers and a couple of bronze medals many years ago. They're about to take on Kazakhstan, making their 8th appearance in the tournament, having first appeared as recently as 1995. Analyst Paul O'Kennedy alongside me, Tim Long. What can we expect from this contest here today?
Well, this is Group D. It's the group of death. And as you said, do or die. Both these teams, they'll take a lot of positives from last night's games without actually getting the win. But positives don't count for much after group play. You can have a lot of positives, no wins, and you're still going home. So, you know, there's probably some minor adjustments both teams need to make as we see the Kazakhstan team being introduced. They lost in overtime last night. They committed 30 fouls, and they had 3 of their front court players foul out, including Klimov. He fouled out in 12 minutes. Zagulin fouled out in 17 minutes, and they had a lot of troubles containing Qatari big man Clinton Trey Johnston, who had 31 points and 14 rebounds. And that's perhaps going to be a key today. Chinese Taipei have Quincy Davis on the inside. And how can Kazakhstan make those adjustments to defend the big guy without fouling? And perhaps the key there is not letting the ball get inside in the first place. So a lot of responsibility on the guards defensively. As we turn our attention to Chinese Taipei, they lost by 5 points to Lebanon, but they shot 10 of 22 from the free throw line. They gave up 12 free points, and their star player, Lin Chichier, he shot 7 of 9. So the rest of the team was 3 of 13 from the foul line, and, you know, you're giving away a crucial win there. Lin finished with 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. It was a brilliant display. Some of his moves had to be seen to be believed. We see him being introduced, and he is a crowd favourite here in Changsha. And the other one we talked about, Quincy Davis, he had 23 points on 11 of 13 shooting, 6 boards and 2 blocks, but only 13 shot attempts. I think a focus needs to be getting him the ball more today to draw more fouls and get the Kazakhs back in trouble.
The two nations introduced to the crowd here in Changsha, China. We will pause for the national anthems, starting first with Kazakhstan.
Please remain standing for the anthem of Chinese Taipei Olympic Committee.
Chinese Taipei, having reached the Final Four in Manila 2 years ago, started the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship with a 92-87 defeat yesterday to Lebanon. Kazakhstan, playing at this venue for the first time in the tournament, came even closer to an opening day win yesterday, losing 79-75 in overtime to Qatar. As we see the officials for this contest here on game day 2 from Kuwait, Japan and India. Alongside me is our expert analyst Paulo Kennedy, and he's going to take you through the key players on display for both nations here in game 2.
Yeah, well, we've talked about some of those key players already and the impact they had on last night's game. I think another thing that will be important today, we see the Kazakhstan roster. Anatoly Koznikov, he's a 200-centimetre small forward. He was born in Kazakhstan. He grew up in Australia. He went to college in the USA. He went back and played professionally in Australia. And now he plays for the BC Astana team in Kazakhstan, along with 9 of his teammates and the coaching staff. So it's a tight-knit group. They play together during the year, and that's perhaps an advantage for this team. There's going to be no growing pains, and we see the point guard, Jerry Johnson. He's the naturalised Kazakh. He's lightning quick, and on the opening day, he had 26 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and the rest of the offense for Kazakhstan revolves around his speed. So we'll see the way Chinese Taipei approach him defensively. Turn our attention to the other end of the court. You know, the stars, obviously, Lin Chichier, 21 points, Quincy Davis, 23 points. Lu Chengyu was a real focus for them. Number 13, he's a small forward. He hit 3 threes early in the game. He finished 4 of 7 from long range, and he was someone who dragged his team back into the game when Lebanon had got 15 or 16 points in front in that second quarter. But there's a number of dangerous shooters in that lineup, and it's just a matter of picking your poison. Which one do you leave open? And you turn attention to their starting 5. I like their 2 big guys, and they play them together a little bit. We see them starting here, Quincy Davis and Seng Wen Ting. They complement each other so well. Davis down low, Seng, he can drive from the high post, he can handle the ball, he can make that mid-range jump shot, and when they're connecting on high-low plays, it's very effective for Chinese Taipei.
It should be a really interesting contest, this, and so much significance. Neither side can afford to lose 2 games in a row, and it's about who perhaps has the mental strength as well to respond to a disappointing defeat yesterday and pick up the win on game 2 and effectively knock out their opponent. Here, Chinese Taipei and Kazakhstan both have had relative success in recent years, and they don't want to go out of the 2015 competition early. It's a huge game for them, and it's come so early on in the tournament.
And we talked earlier, the group of death, Group D, 4 teams all capable of perhaps giving the medal rounds a shake. But today, crucial. If one team goes down 0-2, they're going to be relying on other results going their way and head-to-head matchups going their way. So a crucial battle today.
The players are ready, the officials are ready, and the fans are certainly ready. We've had good attendances here in Chongsha, even for the earlier games. Play on this court all the way through the day. The crowd's picking up the longer the day goes on. We're already in China for the first game of Group D on game day 2 at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. Myself, Tim Long, alongside analyst Paulo Kennedy, set to talk you through the action in Chongsha. 2 nations who've both reached Final Fours in recent tournaments, set for a do-or-die, make-or-break contest here. Chinese Taipei, who put on their best performance of the millennium to reach the semi-finals 2 years ago against Kazakhstan semi-finalists in 2007, who will rise to the occasion in 2015 and put in the big performance their country so desperately needs. See if they can get the first points on the board here, Chinese Taipei. And there's a foul, very nearly a 3-point play from the start, and promising move initially from Lin.
Chinese Taipei, They caught Kazakhstan out there with a quick, low post feed in the offense, good ball reversal, and when Lin gives that much space, he toys with his defender, the up fake, the drive. You've got to be up and in, and you've got to crowd his space.
Lin straight away skillful and aggressive and gets to the line within the space of 10 seconds. Playing at his 5th Asia Championships, the 33-year-old now, 9.8 points per game across the last 4 tournaments. Splits this pair from the line. Jerry Johnson hands it back over to the far side to Kolesnikov. Waiting for movement, going to try and attack inside himself, kick it out to the far side. Look to get into the paint, difficult shot, very nearly dropped in. They can't quite grab the rebound. Through towards Davis and picked off. Turnover, and here comes Jerry Johnson again. Quick bounce pass, beautifully placed, and they'll get the tip for the first field goal of the game, put in by Alexander Zagulin. Johnson, lightning fast crossover from Johnson, and he draws contact from Hung.
And Johnson picking up where he left off last night. Already a superb assist, that time putting pressure on the defense, drawing the foul, and you're going to start to notice the Chinese Taipei defenders are going to have to crowd him and give that help defense.
Moved on by Johnson again. They look to attack inside again. The 2 number 15s going toe-to-toe. Alexander Zagulin, in the end, put off by Quincy Davis.
If that plays any sign, they've put a target on Quincy Davis. Zagulin got it, he went straight at him. One little body contact, went at him again and put the pressure on the referee to make the call.
12 very efficient points yesterday for Zagulin, 5 of 7 from the field. Zagulin hits that one from the line and has 3 early points here today.
And Chinese Taipei, they've got to repay the favour. You know, he fouled out in 17 minutes last night, Zagulin. He picks up his first foul here with Davis trying to get that position deep, and they've got to keep going to that and see whether these Kazakh big men can defend without fouling.
So first foul for today on Zagulin. Chinese Taipei still waiting for their first field goal. Hung over it. It goes to the far side. A tremendous move again. You can see why they love him here. Lin Jiqia has 3 early points. One of those players that really electrifies any crowd. Jerry Johnson with the pass. They'll go for the first 3 of the game off the mark. Forward by Hung, lofted in towards the big man who misses the alley-oop. Just didn't get up high enough there.
I really like it though when the Chinese Taipei guards throw those passes. Now we see the foul here from Hung trying to slow the fast break, but Davis has athleticism that most of his opponents can't match, so throw the ball up there, challenge him to go and get it.
Kazakhstan looking to take the lead early on. Bounce pass in towards the baseline. Back out to the perimeter, they'll try a 3 again. An offensive board. Grabbed by Ponomov. Johnson with a lovely move high off the glass. They can't get the tip.
And on 2 possessions now, Zagulin, he can shoot the 3 ball, but he's settled for it. He needs to keep going to the bucket.
They moved the ball well there, Chinese Taipei, but the shot no good. And here goes Jerry Johnson through the gears again. Nice pass and put in by Pavel Ilin. Long quarterback pass, finding Quincy Davis free for the dunk.
And how's that for a pass from your power forward? He's thrown it 3/4 of the court on the money for the easy bucket.
We're level at 5. Entertaining first 3 minutes. Johnson looking for another assist. This time they'll try for 3, backed it back, and they'll get a fresh 14. They've missed 3 attempts from downtown so far. Moved into the paint. They put it up from closer in with Zagulin. And he can't finish from there either.
And they're really making a point of running pick and pop with their big man, hoping that they can hit some shots and spread the defense.
Here goes Lin again. Finding Davis, picked off by the defense though, and they'll come in transition once more with the pace of Johnson, and then moved on and banked in by Kolesnikov. Davis trying to save that from going out of bounds and unable to do so. Kazakhstan have got their first lead and now they've got possession again.
A turnover on that play, but you love the aggression trying to get it into the big man, and they obviously have scouted the game from last night where they had trouble defending Johnson from Qatar. And I want to see them keep throwing that pass, even if it does lead to a couple of turnovers.
Here's Ilin. Ponomarov putting it up and putting it in. Kazakhstan have got on a scoring burst. They've scored the last 7 points. Lin. Lin driving under the basket, looking for an assist. It was congested in the paint and Kazakhstan come away with it. The scoring has dried up for Chinese Taipei. Moved into the corner to Ilin. He's going to drive down the baseline. Tried to play it back out to the perimeter, and Chinese Taipei have the 3-on-1 opportunity now and still can't finish.
Some good defense there from Johnson.
Kazakhstan can't finish either in transition, but grab their own rebound. And then the foul called on Seng.
And Johnson not just quick with the ball, but that time anticipating defensively, and he made Lin do something he wasn't ready to do and forced the turnover.
So third on Hung. Coming into the game here is Chen Shijie. Kazakhstan leading by 5 and a chance to extend that towards the midway point of the first quarter. Spin move from Klimov, beautifully done.
Classy move inside from the reserve, and going back at Davis at the other end to make him play some defense.
Chen Shijie off the bench and very nearly making an instant impact. Another miss though for Chinese Taipei, another fast break here for Kazakhstan, and they take advantage of it yet again. The lead continues to grow as Ilin puts it in, now at 9 points, and they force Chinese Taipei to call timeout. They've scored the last 16 points of this ball game. So timeout called with a 14-5 Kazakhstan lead. And for them, 11 straight points. And the number 11 a part of that, and Klimov as well with a beautiful move off the bench. Pavel Ilin, the number 10, put the finishing touches on the run. Let's see if Chinese Taipei can turn it around off the back of the timeout.
And in the opening game, Chinese Taipei had quite a bit of pressure defense up the court. Lebanon were very aggressive and attacked it, and they forced them out of those defensive sets. But maybe here is a time to get back up the floor and test out some other players apart from Johnson. Get the ball out of his hands.
Forward by Chen. Now Liu into the lane, puts it up from the foul stripe. Another miss. And out to bounce Kazakhstan ball, so an opportunity to grow the lead and to keep the run going. Chinese Taipei now just 2 of 7 from the field. Johnson taking his time this time. Here's Ilin. Ilin driving inside, getting away from 2 of them and putting it in.
Tough finish. He used his body to shield the ball from Quincy Davis. Didn't give the shot blocker the chance to elevate and get the block.
Chen Shijia over to the far side. They'll shoot the three this time. That won't go down for them either. Kazakhstan having to play out of some pressure here to get over half court. Behind the back goes Jerry Johnson. And the right hand back onto the left, and then there's a foul off the ball.
We've seen a little bit of a defensive adjustment from Chinese Taipei after those pick and pop early from Kazakhstan. They're actually switching their two big guys. So Davis going to the bench now, but he's just guarding the big guy who's closest to the basket, swapping with Seng, who'll step out to cover the perimeter player.
Jerry Johnson at the line. A chance to score his first points of the ball game. The team high 26 yesterday. 6 of 14 from the field, and as we've discussed, 7 assists, 4 rebounds as well. They haven't needed him to score to get this lead so far, and if he can get going as well, then it's only going to mean good things for Kazakhstan. He gets them both from the line, and the lead has grown to 13 after just 6 minutes.
The free throw is important for Kazakhstan. They got to the line 39 times last night, but they only made 24 of them.
Don't want to make the same mistakes. And 3 of 4 from the line so far tonight. And a turnover for Chinese Taipei. It's knocked out of bounds. It is going to be Kazakhstan ball. They can't get anything going right now.
And this is similar to how they started last night against Lebanon, and it took some hot three-point shooting in that second quarter by Liu to bring them back into the game.
13-0 Kazakhstan run. They'll try and continue that here. They attack from the far side. They'll try the three as well. It's good, make it a 16-0 run as Kolesnikov knocks it down.
And Chinese Taipei into a zone that time, but the three-pointer exposes it.
Lin trying to answer back with a three, off the mark. Rebound grabbed by Chen Shijia, but he lost it. Kazakhstan will come forward with Jerry Johnson now. Looking to go all the way, have plenty of options there. They're able to secure the offensive board, but can't get it to go. 3 of them there, couldn't get the job done between them. And then Chen Shijia is fouled.
And one of the few times so far that Chinese Taipei has got a really good transition opportunity. So far, Kazakhstan has been excellent at getting that balance between contesting the O-boards and getting their numbers back.
On by Wu. And they could really do with anything here. Just something to get going again. Lin drives to the baseline. He's the man to get them going, but he misses the layup. They can't buy a basket right now. Wu can't force it in. And now Jerry Johnson goes through the gears again, across to the far side. Johnson fizzing in another pass back over to Yargaliyev, and then Johnson. They'll take their time with this one. Final 10 seconds of the shot clock. Johnson's going to take on the three himself. Defender got a piece of it, and then they throw it into the hands of Wu. Lin. Across to the far side, they'll drive in here with Leo. Another layup that won't go. Difficult on that occasion, though. They've not scored for over 5 minutes now, Chinese Taipei, after 5 early points.
And how many of those shots have lipped in and lipped out? There's been a lot of makeable shots. It's also noticeable that Kazakhstan, helping deep into the key, they're prepared to give up contested three-point shots at the moment. And so far, Chinese Taipei, 0 of 3 from the arc. They're not making them pay.
Jerry Johnson moved on by Yargaliyev, and then back to Johnson through Klimov. Johnson across to the far side. They work it into the corner. It's lovely ball movement. Shot was short. Another offensive rebound, then a rejection. And they grab the ball again here with Klimov. Johnson's going to slow things down and look to orchestrate the play once more. Ilin driving inside. Nice bounce pass. The move off the baseline, no good. Can they get a basket towards the final minute of the quarter? There's another one that was almost in before it came back out again.
And Wu with a frustration foul there, and his team's in the bonus, so he's going to give away 2 free throws to Jerry Johnson. And with the way Kazakhstan have been scoring freely, the last thing Chinese Taipei can afford is to give them freebies.
Jerry Johnson gets back to the line.
2 shots.
Kazakhstan have had 6 points from Ilin, 5 from Kolesnikov. Johnson now with 3 and a chance to add 1 more. 3 from Zagulin and 3 from Ponomov. And 4 of 4 from the foul line is Jerry Johnson. The lead is 18, and at this stage, even in the first quarter, it becomes a huge concern for Chinese Taipei.
We're talking about a team that scored 87 points last night, now just 5 in 9 minutes today.
You really can't afford to let the lead grow much more than this. Another miss, that's 8 misses in a row now from the field for them. It was a pretty swift start from both teams. The score was 5-5. Kazakhstan have scored the last 18 points. Still have possession here with 9 left on the shot clock. 42.7 left in the first quarter. And it goes towards the paint. They lose the handle on it, retrieve it again, move it around. And that one well short by Ponomov, and then they pick up the pieces.
And it's been textbook offense against this zone. Ball movement, open shot, and then crash the offensive boards. They've now got 9 offensive boards in 1 quarter of basketball. That's almost unheard of.
Quite remarkable rebounding numbers for Kazakhstan. Those second chance opportunities, they have taken full advantage of them. Here's Liu driving inside and getting caught right at the end of the quarter, and the foul is on Ilin. They finally have an opportunity to end this drought from the foul line.
And when you think they've only taken 2 free throws, Chinese Taipei, and that was Quincy Davis on almost the first possession of the game, and they haven't been able to draw those fouls ever since.
A huge amount of relief just to see that 1 point go down. That's how it feels right now for Chinese Taipei.
It was such a promising start for them. We talked about how they're going inside the Quincy Davis. They're putting the pressure on the Kazakhs, but they've gone away from that. They've settled for the outside shots, and they've settled for contested drives by their guards rather than letting their big guys do the work inside.
And that's their first points in over 7 minutes. Kazakhstan trying to create 1 more shot before the end of the quarter, out of bounds with 1.4 seconds remaining. Yargeliev to inbound. It's going to have to be a quick catch and shoot. They do get it away. Not on target, though. And they won't be too disappointed about that. A 25-point first quarter for Kazakhstan. An 18-point lead over Chinese Taipei, who went 7 minutes without scoring. Haven't scored a field goal in nearly 7.5 minutes now, missing their last 8 attempts. Chinese Taipei down 7-25 to Kazakhstan at the end of 1.
Well, I mean, look at those shooting statistics. 2 of 14 overall from the field from Chinese Taipei, and they just haven't been able to get any of their shots in flow. We look at the boards, 20 rebounds to 9. You know, it's been a little bit of a basketball clinic from Kazakhstan. Their help defense has been excellent when they've got the board or the turnover, and you see 7 turnovers to Chinese Taipei. As soon as they've recovered the ball, Jerry Johnson's led the way going back offensively, and then they've moved the ball, they've shared it. And when the shot goes up, they've had 2-3 players on the offensive board each time. And we see, you know, Ponomarev there with one of his offensive rebounds. And there's Quincy Davis with his spectacular dunk miss. But and that perhaps that summarises the quarter for Chinese Taipei.
Kazakhstan certainly firing on all cylinders. This one, he did get away, Quincy Davis, but just 2 of 7 points for Chinese Taipei. It's Kazakhstan who've hit 9 of 26 field goal attempts, created so many of those second chance opportunities. They've taken almost double the amount of shots in that first quarter than their opponents.
Yeah, basketball's a possession game. And you just see from those numbers, they've had 13 more possessions when you add up the offensive rebounds and the turnovers. And you can't win games of basketball when you have that much less possession. It's as simple as that. And I think the other thing that's happened is the speed of Jerry Johnson has put Chinese Taipei on the back foot. They're a team that loves to play aggressive, attacking basketball, but they've been on the back pedal trying to defend him. And then because of the disciplined offensive rebound and then transition defense from Kazakhstan, they haven't been able to get their flow going the other way.
Let's see if they can change the flow back in their favour in this second quarter. An awful lot to do already for Chinese Taipei. Kazakhstan lead 25-7 at the start of the second. And they have really come to play in a huge game for them here at Asia Basket. Off the mark, the shot from Mirzagaliev. So they've got a defensive stop right at the start of the second. And they can get a basket too, their first field goal in almost 8 minutes of play.
And you see the difference. They get the stop, secure the defensive board, and then that trademark Chinese Taipei play. 2-3 passes in transition and a three-point bomb.
Moved on by Mirzagaliev, and then in from Ilin on the far side. The screen set by Ponomov. And looking to go all the way was Ilin, but can't make the shot. Tien moves it onto the corner. Liu going to attack down the baseline. The foul on Mirzagaliev.
We see Liu and Lu in transition. They both love running to the corners. You know, the defense gets sucked up. They're there for the three-point shot or to sneak along the baseline. And Liu has come out aggressive in this second quarter. And you know, we talked about, you know, it was some of the lesser names in the second quarter last night who got them back into the game. Let's see if they can do it again.
Liu going to take on the three-point attempt. Off the mark and a rebound, Kazakhstan. Jerry Johnson. 1 of 5 from downtown now, Chinese Taipei. They'll look to attack inside, draw the attention of the defense, back out to Jerry Johnson. Over to the far side, they've got more space on the perimeter. That one's way off the mark. Liu. In towards Quincy Davies, who gets free of 2 of them and puts it in. And they've scored 5 points in a row. They have reduced the deficit from 18 to 13. And there's a bit of Kazakhstan concern now as they call timeout. They want to make sure this Chinese Taipei charge doesn't continue.
And that was a case of going back to plan A. You know, Quincy Davis underneath the basket. He ran hard down the court. Zagulin did a good job of beating him to the spot, but Davis just got more physical, created the position and demanded the ball, and then had the poise to finish.
They've only had 3 scorers in the game, Chinese Taipei. 4 points now for Davies, 5 for Liu, and 3 for Lin. That's it, as far as it goes for them. Kazakhstan have spread their scoring around, got 7 players on the board, led by the 6 points of Ilin.
They've scored 5 points in 90 seconds after scoring 2 points in the final 5 minutes of that first quarter.
And 2 points in the final 7 minutes and 19 seconds
Wow.
of the quarter. And they were free throws as well.
It's a really important time for Kazakhstan here. You know, they busted out to an 18-point lead, but if you suddenly let that slip back to single figures by half-time, there's a huge psychological difference to what your opponent has to face in the second half.
Ilin. Able to get away here and lofted over the top of Quincy Davies and off the mark from Klimov. Offensive board again, their 10th of the game. Jerry Johnson across to Ilin. Pushes it inside. Losing the handle on the ball was Klimov, and here come Chinese Taipei. Lovely bounce pass there, perfectly weighted, and it leaves the open layup for Hung.
That's Chinese Taipei basketball at its best, and the speed of Hung in the open court to beat 2 defenders down the floor.
And it's Kazakhstan now who haven't scored in around 3 minutes of play.
Chinese Taipei in their 2-3 zone defense, they're doing a much better job in this quarter of making the Kazakhstani big men put the ball on the floor, and they're tempting them to beat them. Can you make those shots yourself rather than being fed it on a dime by Jerry Johnson?
So it's exactly 3 minutes without a score for Kazakhstan. They're looking to end that mini drought here. Johnson misses. And a chance for the Chinese Taipei run to continue. Going to get close to the basket again. Held up this time though. Back out to the perimeter once more. Creating good room for the shot, but missing it then was Liu. Johnson, he's going to pull up for the three. Bang. Big one that for Jerry Johnson to stop the slide.
And that's plan A for Kazakhstan. Get the ball to Jerry Johnson, see what he can do in the open floor.
Their first score in nearly 4 minutes. And their lead is still 14. Liu's going to try and answer back with a three, and does. So Chinese Taipei not taking their foot off the gas.
Liu now up to 7 points, and he's taking it upon himself to claw his team back into the game.
Here's Johnson. Across to the far side to Ilin. Zagulin lays it back to Johnson. There's that crossover again into the paint, back out. They're trying to move the defense around and get a good look. Difficult shot in the end with the adjustment onto the left hand.
And some smart defense once again into the zone, but they're picking the players they close out on and who they leave alone.
Still Kazakhstan ball and 3 left on the shot clock.
You notice on that Jerry Johnson drive, they didn't overcommit to him, because as soon as he does, he whips off that pass to the open man. They were just in range. He's a small man. They were there. They could contest the shot, but they were making him make tougher decisions than earlier in the game.
Straight off the inbound pass, it's good. With just 3 seconds to shoot, Zagulin gets it down, and Kazakhstan lead by 14 again. Liu pulls up for the long two again and knocks it down. Back-to-back baskets for him.
And Kazakhstan are going to have to start making some adjustments to Liu, because he's on a serious roll now, up to 9 points.
Klimov. Jerry Johnson trying to fizz that pass in, highly ambitious. Chinese Taipei come up with the steal. How can they build on their run? Off the mark that time, an offensive board though. Well, actually didn't even touch the rim, so tip back to Liu. Have the chance to take it from the corner, they pass it up, find Liu. He can't hit this time.
Kazakhstan dodge a bullet there. Liu doing all his damage on this right-hand side of the floor.
He had the hot hand at that point. Unfortunate that he cools down a little bit. Jerry Johnson. Ilin. 5 seconds left to shoot. Being forced to leave it late again. Ilin can't hit. Midway point of the second quarter. Chinese Taipei in the ascendancy right now. Tien. Tien perched on the perimeter, takes the long three. Short. And they grab the offensive board somehow and put it in, so they've reduced the deficit to 10 as Hung doubles his tally.
What a play by Hung. He's the smallest man on the court. He got in underneath the big guy, tapped it away, and then had the presence to finish.
That's the kind of diligence that Chinese Taipei are showing right now. They are steadily closing the gap. They've been down by 18. Jerry Johnson shooting from the outside, flat. Liu on the charge now, rides the challenges and puts it in. Liu moves into double figures. The lead has been cut to single digits, halved down from 18. And the timeout called by Kazakhstan.
And look at this drive, the composure. He rode the contact, kept his pivot foot, finished with the left hand. He only had 2 points last night, and look at him now, he's up to 11, and it's the beauty of this Chinese Taipei team. They have so many dangerous perimeter players that you shut one down, the other one can stand up, but the key here has been defensively. They've held Kazakhstan to 5 points in almost 6 minutes of play after giving up 25 in the first quarter, and it's been this zone. It's a shifting zone, and you can see the confusion with Jerry Johnson. He's not sure what he's seeing in front of him because they've got big men sliding out to the perimeter, little men diving down to cover underneath, and then they recover. So they're backing each other, they're covering each other's backs, and they're making the Kazakhstanis play out of rhythm, and so far they haven't been able to do it.
Another thing as well, the offensive rebounding numbers. I think there was 9 in the first quarter. There's only been 2 in 6 minutes for them, so that number's reduced. The second chance opportunities have reduced, and the field goal percentages from Kazakhstan weren't that great in the first quarter. It's just they were taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, that's right. There'll be a test for their defensive rebounding. They've had 3 bigs on for the first part of that quarter. They're gone back to a more traditional lineup here.
Here they are off the timeout, attacking the baseline and left with a simple basket for Kolesnikov.
Yeah, that's a high-quality play out of the timeout from Kazakhstan.
Off the mark from the outside. 17-7 the run. You can see there for Chinese Taipei was 17-5 before that last basket. There's the pass into the paint and rejected from behind by Quincy Davis.
He was a SWAT machine last night. In the second half, he intimidated the Lebanon players. He needs to be active inside again today.
Still Kazakhstan ball. They have it with Yorgaliev. He's going to drive to the baseline, kick it to the corner. Steps away, in for the 2, mid-range, beautifully done.
And both those plays against the zone have been along the baseline. Kazakhstan have obviously identified that as the area of weakness.
Kolesnikov getting them both. Kazakhstan lead by 12 again. Just about weathered the storm for now. Nice pass in towards Davis. Good delay on the shot, and he puts it in.
Davis just too strong inside. There was a wrestle going on. He knocked his opponent to the ground, and it was academic from there.
Jerry Johnson back out to the outside, moved around the perimeter. There they are looking to attack that baseline again. Think twice of it this time. They'll go back for plan B. Jerry Johnson through the legs across to the far side. Now there is space on that side. Off the mark, the 3 from Kolesnikov. It was a really good look as well, and then the foul in transition.
And last night, Lin had 7 rebounds, and so often he would sky for that rebound and then race down the court. We saw Kazakhstan there determined to foul, stop the fast break and not let the Chinese Taipei star get going, because so far they've had a tight leash on him.
Kolesnikov, the leading scorer for Kazakhstan, now with 9 after 4 quick-fire points. Very nearly added 3 more on that last offensive possession. Jerry Johnson with 7, Ilin with 6. Seng moves it on, now Liu. Directing traffic is Hung in the centre. Goes across to the near side to Lin, who pulls up for the 3 and knocks down the 3, and it's become a 7-point game.
And he'll be very relieved to see that one drop through the net. Lin was 0 for 7 last night from the 3-point line, but that might get him going.
Jerry Johnson high off the glass. Can't get it to drop, really difficult shot. The offensive ball grabbed by Anton Ponomov and then kicked out of bounds.
Ponomov not happy. He thought he was hacked on the arm, but before that, it was again the intimidation of Quincy Davis on the drive by Johnson.
Chinese Taipei with an opportunity to get even closer. Tremendous second quarter showing for them. After going down big in the first, knocked away from Seng.
And some frustrations just starting to show with Kazakhstan, complaining about a couple of calls. Early in the game, they were such a committed and focused unit. And their minds just starting to wander a little bit here.
Chinese Taipei taking the timeout with 2 minutes and a second remaining in the half. What a wonderful job they've done to reduce an 18-point deficit down to 7. And it was at a point at 18 that the game, not just the game, the tournament was going to get away from them.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would have made it difficult. Like I said, they would have had to win tomorrow. If they lose today, they have to win tomorrow, and they have to rely on head-to-head and the like for them to move through to the second round. And that goes to whichever team loses today. And you're right, there's this saying in basketball about giving the other team encouragement. Kazakhstan were 18 points in front. They made a couple of little mental errors. They allowed Davis to get the ball inside. They allowed Liu to get some open looks, and they gave them that encouragement. And now they're on a roll. It's back to a 7-point game.
We've seen some big deficits overturned already in this tournament, and Chinese Taipei are looking to continue with Lin hitting that big one from the corner, doubling his tally to 6, and perhaps he'll shoot a little more freely from the outside now. That will be a huge benefit to them. A player who can score big. We saw him score big yesterday despite missing 6 from the outside. Even if he would have made just a couple of his attempts, it would have been a 27-point game for the number 7. And here he is looking to attack and pirouette away on the foul line, out to Seng, and he misses. Jerry Johnson. They could do with a bit of composure now, Kazakhstan, a bit of execution. Jerry Johnson. They go around the perimeter. Nothing open for them though yet. Johnson, the screen set by Ponomov. Now they do get a good look with Kolesnikov right at the end of the shot clock. He knocks it down from the outside. A huge 3 for Kazakhstan.
Great patience from Kazakhstan. We saw Lin make an adjustment in the zone. Kolesnikov had been driving baseline. He forced him to the middle, but the ball got back to him and he made the shot.
He's got 12 points now to lead all scorers in the game. Lin short on that 3. Johnson can look to come quickly in transition. Final minute of the first half. Wonderfully weighted pass, and arriving to put it in is Yorgaliev.
And good things happen for Kazakhstan when Jerry Johnson has the ball in transition.
Into Quincy Davies. Good things have happened with him on the ball, but not this time. Now Kazakhstan with a bit of a scoring spurt now towards the end of the half.
Yeah, this is a pivotal moment for Chinese Taipei. They've got to get some stops.
The foul called there on Hung Chi-shan. That's his 4th. 33.5 seconds remaining in the half. Kazakhstan leading now by 12. Taipei, Chinese Taipei have got as close as 7. Johnson. They're all perched and waiting on the perimeter, then they edge closer in towards the paint and try to bulldoze it in, and they do with a foul as well. Dmitry Klimov, a chance at a 3-point play, and they have started to play again in the final minute or 2 of the first half.
This was outstanding patience from Ponomov. He drove in. Quincy Davis was patrolling the paint, ready to swat the shot, but he threw the up fake, got Davis off his feet, and then dished to his teammate Klimov for the open basket. And that's experienced basketball. We talk about Kazakhstan having 10 guys who play together in club basketball, and there's just that little bit of understanding between them.
Klimov looking to add one more to the tally, and does. The 3-point play good, and now a 15-point Kazakhstan lead. The shot clock turned off at the end of the half. A few changes coming in, and momentum can swing so quickly in this sport. An 18-point Kazakhstan lead reduced to 7. Chinese Taipei on the front foot, and then all of a sudden it's 15 points again, and not too far off the largest lead of the game. Chen Shijie to bring the ball up over half court. They'll take their time and look to hold for the final shot of the half. Seven seconds to play with here as they attack inside, kick it out to Liu for 3. Beautifully done. The 3 knocked down from the corner makes it a 12-point game, and that could be another big 3 in terms of the momentum swing, in terms of the belief heading into the break. It's been a roller coaster ride of a first half of runs. Kazakhstan up big early on, pegged back by Chinese Taipei, then bursting away again before maybe the 3 at the end of the half kickstarts another Chinese Taipei run. They are still down by 12, but in this game that means nothing. Kazakhstan lead 42-30 at the end of the first half.
And we look at some of the stats there. You know, the shooting percentages are quite even now. And like you said, it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride. Both teams making runs. Kazakhstan 32 rebounds to 18 and 13 offensive boards. Like you said, Chinese Taipei did tighten up in that area. And again, looking at a number of these statistics, relatively even. It's just been that possession. The fact that Kazakhstan have been able to secure more possession, get more opportunities at the basket. We see Liu with 11. What I liked about that last play was that was Lin's first assist for the game, and he's the chief playmaker for Chinese Taipei. In the second half, if he can get into the lane and start finding the open shooters, that's promising signs for his team.
Now you see the game's leading scorers, one player for each nation in double figures. The 12 points for Anatoly Kolesnikov, 5 of 9 from the field for him, and 11 points for Liu Cheng, who's 4 of 10 from the field. Kazakhstan starting superbly. It was 5-5 before they went on to score 18 straight points and lead 23-5. A bit more frustration crept into their game though, as Chinese Taipei made adjustments. Kolesnikov, their leading scorer, 12 points. Lovely move that time by Klimov, who came in off the bench to finish and to get the bench on their feet. It's been a thoroughly entertaining first half, and it's far, far from over. You just feel there could be another run in this game. Liu playing a lovely bounce pass that time for Chinese Taipei. The 11 points of Liu, as well as those 2 assists. They've got 6 points apiece from Quincy Davies, who's 3 of 5 from the field, and also from Lin, who's hit a couple from the outside. Johnson, the second leading scorer for Kazakhstan, with 7 points, although just 1 of 7 from the field. That 3-pointer we saw just a second or two ago. He's done the rest of his damage from the free throw line. Kolesnikov has done plenty of damage. The number 9 has 12 first half points to lead all scorers in the game. And at half time, it's Chinese Taipei 30, Kazakhstan 42. Welcome back to Changsha, game 2 of the Asia Championships for these two. And Kazakhstan leading by 12 points at the start of the second half, although that means very little the way this game's been panning out. They had an 18-point advantage earlier on and was closed down by 11 points all the way to 7. Chinese Taipei have shown that they can go on a run. But Kazakhstan finished the first half strongly with Anatoly Kolesnikov scoring big. And he's their leading scorer with 12 points, leading scorer in the game, 5 of 9 from the field, although a big three-pointer right at the end of the second quarter for Wu of Chinese Taipei that closed the gap to 12.
Kolesnikov, he's the leading scorer, but he's a finisher. You know, the ball moves, he gets an open shot, he gets an open drive. The key for Kazakhstan is Johnson, and it's his pace that Chinese Taipei struggled to contain for much of that game. In the second quarter, when they made inroads, they were making Johnson second-guess himself. They were making him make difficult decisions, and all of a sudden the rest of the Kazakhstan players couldn't just feed off his speed, and that's going to be a real key in the second half.
Let's see if Chinese Taipei can shut down Jerry Johnson again to shut down this Kazakhstan offense.
It's a little early to be cutting the nets down. The championship hasn't been run and won just yet, but it appears there's an issue with the net at that end of the basket. So we've just got a slight delay for the start of the second half.
Just got to make sure that everything is right here to get going again. We've clearly got a problem at that end. 11 points in the game for Liu Cheng, the leading scorer for Chinese Taipei. 4 of 10 from the field. 6 points from Quincy Davis inside, 6 points from Lin. And for Kazakhstan, their second leading scorer, Jerry Johnson, 7 points, but only 1 of 7 from the field. He hit a three-pointer. He's 1 of 3 from downtown, 0 of 4 inside, 4 of those 7 points coming from the line.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's got those 3 assists, and people talk about the hockey assist, which is the pass before the assist, and I think if you went back through the tape, he's probably got 3 or 4 of them as well.
But they've only got 5 assists as a team, and he's got 3 of them.
Yeah.
Shows how important he is running that offense.
He is, and that probably doesn't do justice to their offense because they have moved the ball well. In that first quarter, they were creating great shots. A lot of them missed. Then they got that offensive rebound and put the basket back in, something Chinese Taipei cracked down on in that second quarter, and that's got to continue if they're going to get back into the game. And last night, they did the same thing. They let Lebanon get out in front. They played catch-up the whole night. They got back level. I think they pipped them briefly for the lead, but that effort of playing catch-up over the entire night, it wore them down, and Lebanon were able to secure the victory down the stretch.
Kazakhstan, who won a couple of games against a Chinese Basketball Association club side in preparation. And really disappointing start for both of these two with the narrow defeats yesterday. Kazakhstan will be pretty happy with their first half performance, although not happy they allowed Chinese Taipei back in. Chinese Taipei, beg your pardon, had a 3-game trip to Korea in preparation, also hosted and finished 3rd in the William Jones Cup behind Iran and the Philippines, and then lost all 3 games on a trip to Manila for the MVP Cup, so a mixed preparation for them, and a really disappointing start for them yesterday as well.
And they had some success in that second quarter going with 3 bigs out on the court, using Tien as the small forward. It gave them some extra screening power. They had 2-3 screens lined up for Liu, and that was allowing him to get those open jump shots on the right-hand side of the court. You know, it looks like they're going back to their starters here for the third quarter. It'll be interesting to see if they can't bridge this deficit with their normal lineup. Do they go back to the 3 big lineup?
A much longer half-time interval than they would have expected. You see the Chinese Thai players not really discussing things amongst themselves or with the coaching staff, just standing around and waiting to get back on the court. They've had their instructions. They will feel they know what they have to do to try and kickstart another run, or to try and gradually wear down this 12-point Kazakhstan advantage.
And Chinese Taipei are going with the 3 bigs to start off. They'll have Seng in the small forward position, although Kazakhstan have matched him up with Zagulin.
Tien puts it up well off the mark to finally get the second half started.
And no true point guard for Chinese Taipei. They're going to use Lin in the point guard position. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they run their offense here.
Jerry Johnson has done a good job of running the Kazakhstan offense, feeds it into the low post, back out to the perimeter. Johnson receives it again, fires it in towards the number 15 once more, this time knocked away from behind by Tien.
Chinese Taipei into a zone, 3 bigs along the bottom line, long arms, making it hard for that interior pass.
Here is Lin controlling the offense, now Tien moved on to Seng. Lin from the foul line moves it back to the perimeter. Very congested under the hoop, and Kazakhstan trying to grab it, maybe should have done and eventually do. Right at the end of the shot clock, Jerry Johnson comes away with it. And he's just going to slow it down. Kolesnikov attacking from the far side. Over to the corner to Ilin. Drives into the paint. Does well to divert it back to Kolesnikov. Off the mark with the 3.
We saw the scrambling Chinese Taipei zone, but that extra pass found a shooter in the corner. But for once, Kolesnikov couldn't finish it off.
Seng, call for a travel.
You saw at both ends with that big lineup for Chinese Taipei where the advantage lies. Kolesnikov at small forward, he gets the open look. Down that end, Seng gets a mismatch in the low post against Kolesnikov, but couldn't finish it off with the travel.
Jerry Johnson, Kolesnikov making a move towards the near side now, trying to get free in the corner, then the bounce pass to release him on the baseline. Over to the far side, off the mark. Kolesnikov able to grab the rebound, and then foul.
No, in fact, they've called a double dribble.
Indeed, yeah, turnover.
Kolesnikov wondering what he did wrong. He thought he had someone land on his shoulder. But the referee's saying he used one dribble to recover the basketball and then started his dribble again.
Hung moves the ball on. Playing on 4 fouls at the moment. The Chinese Taipei number 24, Lin, looking to get towards the baseline. Difficult shot won't go. Jerry Johnson. Through the legs across to Ilin. Kazakhstan 2.5 minutes without a score. Jerry Johnson. Across to Ilin, wide open for the 3. Nothing but net from Pavel Ilin.
And Ilin hasn't been able to get his game going tonight, but you can't leave him that wide open, and he makes them pay.
It's a 15-point lead again. They'll try and answer back with a 3 of their own from the corner. Won't go down for Liu. Chinese Taipei are 3 of 12 as a team from 3-point range. Jerry Johnson can't make it back-to-back 3s for Kazakhstan. Out of bounds. It's going to be Chinese Taipei ball. Kazakhstan not happy with the call.
Chinese Taipei have abandoned the 3 bigs. They've got Hung back in at the point guard position. Of course, he's got 4 fouls, so he's going to have to be careful.
Chinese Taipei will inbound the ball with Seng. And here comes Hung handling the ball over half court up against Jerry Johnson. In towards Seng, knocked away, back to Hung. Seng's going to hand it off on the perimeter. They'll shoot another 3, they'll miss another 3. Offensive board this time though for Davis, and throw it into the hands of Johnson. Johnson onto the left hand, back onto the right. Beautiful move from Jerry Johnson.
That is the definition of smooth right there, but we saw at the other end, Quincy Davis, that was his first offensive touch of the half, and he had to get an offensive rebound to get it.
They've been able to recover the ball here with Sigulin. He steps on the line. That last one only the 2nd field goal for Jerry Johnson, 2 of 9 from the field now, but what a tremendous move it was, and he's on to 9 points. "17-point Kazakhstan lead. Lin going to shoot from the outside, another miss. He's now offensive board.
He's now 1 of 11 from the 3-point line in this tournament. He needs to get inside the paint.
Liu trying to find Davis, has it picked off. 3 of 14 now from downtown for Chinese Taipei. Jerry Johnson, Kolesnikov getting inside, back out to the perimeter. They had 3 over on that side, and that shot's way off. Long pass to release Chinese Taipei, but they still can't take advantage as Liu misses the open opportunity.
And we're approaching danger time here for Chinese Taipei because they're missing some easy shots, giving away some cheap turnovers, and this could be a 20-point game very soon.
Jerry Johnson might be right now off the mark from Panama. Hung. Across to the far side to Lin. And a foul called on Zagulin.
Double foul
Davis
called
and
there.
Kolesnikov, yeah.
Chinese Taipei, number 15, double foul.
Now, you talk about the execution. Last night against Lebanon, the staple offense for Chinese Taipei was the high ball screen. Lin with the ball, Davis setting the screen. And Lebanon had all sorts of trouble trying to guard that. And particularly when Seng was in the game, they could then go to high-low action. We've hardly seen that at all tonight. We keep seeing the wing pick and roll, Lin with the ball. But Kazakhstan just doing a great job of forcing him to the baseline and making him shoot jump shots.
Lin receives it. Back from Davis off the inbound pass. Lin, lovely pass in towards Wu. Trying to get free, trying to put it up. Off the mark. Davis trying to help it back in. Not the second time, not the third time for Chinese Taipei. Maybe 4th time lucky. Lin in towards the big man again, knocked away by Kolesnikov, only as far as Liu. And the offensive foul against Liu Chong.
And probably a little bit unlucky there, Liu. I don't think Johnson had position at all, but they went, you know, timing is everything. We see here Johnson still moving forward and then lunging to the side. I think that's a very lucky call. But they went to that high ball screen, Liu and Davis, and they got a good shot out of it. They just missed the initial shot, missed a couple of tap-ins, but they need to go back to that action.
And was pinched off the fingertips of Jerry Johnson, who found a way to reel it in and then to move it on. Lin grabs the rebound and only just about secures it, and then a foul on Ilin. Lin had dropped the ball, and Ilin thought he could get the steal right under the Chinese Taipei basket. Called for his second personal. Right at the midway point of the third quarter, a 12-point Kazakhstan lead has grown to 17. The largest lead of the game was 18. They look relatively in control at this point. Chinese Taipei need to put together another run in towards Quincy Davis. It's still going to be Chinese Taipei ball.
And again, using Lin on the high ball screen, he knives through the defense and a sweet pass, but couldn't just finish the connection. Davis inside.
Lin looking to attack from the perimeter. Goes backwards. Able to free himself was Wu. And a foul into the basket.
And Chinese Taipei, it's like they're almost trying a little too hard. You know, attacking the basket, tough shots that are rimming out. But Quincy Davis is doing a great job on the offensive boards. You know, he's up to, you know, he's had 2 of them this quarter. He's up to 5 rebounds in total.
Davis with a couple of big foul shots here. Makes this one on his first trip to the line. 6 points all coming in the first half, 3 of 6 from the field. And now 2 of 2 from the line. 8 points and 5 boards for Quincy Davis. Johnson, again waiting for movement, looking to orchestrate things. Gets it back, the space over on the far side, driving towards the baseline, over towards Kolesnikov on this side.
Blocked by Davis.
Davis got a piece of it. Lin pirouetting away, not from 1, but from 2, and able to finish. How about that highlight reel move from Lin Chi-Chia?
Play of the day so far, no doubt about it. And is that something that gets him going and gets his team going?
Jerry Johnson. Johnson out to the corner. Kolesnikov driving in down the baseline, hangs at the mid-ranger, can't get it to go. Now takes it short and is fouled by Davis.
He did a good job there of jumping into the body of Davis. He put the pressure on the referee to make the call once he saw the contact. Davis had pretty good position, but you're always a chance when you get in there and you get into the body of the shot blocker. Look at this move. 1 spin, 2 spins. He put him in the spin dryer and he finished it off with 2.
In his wake. He's only 3 of 10 from the field for 8 points. A couple of those have been highlight reel moves. That's what you get from him. Not a particularly efficient 8 points here this evening, though.
And we've spoken about important moments in the game a number of times tonight. It's a 13-point game here. Kolesnikov makes it 14. But these 4 minutes leading into three-quarter time, it's probably going to tell the story of the game.
We're going to have a timeout called with 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the third. Kazakhstan leading 48-34. So Kazakhstan leading by 14, 48-34 with 3:54 to play in the third quarter. And led by the 13 points of Anatoly Kolesnikov, 5 of 12 from the field for him. And the only player in double figures for Kazakhstan, just 1 in double figures for Chinese Taipei so far. The 11 points of Liu Cheng. And some tremendous moves from Lin Chichia, who's got 8 points, and Quincy Davis with 8 points as well. They want to close the gap to single digits over the course of the next 4 minutes or so. A chance to eat into the deficit a bit more here as Lin looks to attack. And we've got a whistle on the play before the basket.
He had half an opening for a 3-point shot there, but I like the fact that he up-faked and decided to get into the keyway. And again, you put that pressure on the defense, often you're going to get the foul, and that's 4 team fouls now on Kazakhstan. So the next one will send Chinese Taipei to the line.
Liu. Moved on to Lin, and then an offensive foul. Turnover for Chinese Taipei.
Some nice execution from the sideline. They got Hung a wide open shot, but Wu just a little bit exuberant with his pick.
Second foul on Wu.
I think their execution, they are starting to get some more open shots, some more driving lanes, perhaps a little bit of the sting going out of the Kazakh defense.
Moved on by Ponomov to the far side. They'll drive towards the baseline here. Difficult shot won't go. Ponomov trying to grab it. Was able to get it. Kolesnikov back in the corner, but penned into the corner. Finds a way out somehow. They can't get it to go the first time, but they will the second time with Ponomov.
What a pass from Kolesnikov. He was trapped in the double team. He leaned out of bounds and found his teammate, and then a great follow-up from the big man.
Talk about it being a pivotal 4 minutes or so. Kazakhstan have got the better of it so far. Wu almost dribbled it off his foot. Lin going to put up the 3. The miss, but what a follow-up that was from Liu Chong.
Athletic fly-in from Chung. Liu Chung now up to 13 points. And last night it was Liu who brought his team back into the game. Tonight it's Liu getting the job done. It's back to 14. But they've got to get some stops and they've got to make a couple of shots, because so far tonight, a team that scored 87 points last night, they just haven't put that scoreboard pressure on their opponents.
Johnson onto Yorgaliev. Johnson again. Yorgaliev once more, looking to get inside. Thought about kicking it to the perimeter, instead turned round and put it in himself. Both teams firing now, trading baskets in the final few minutes of the third. And that one goes down as well, rattles around and drops for Hung.
When Chinese Taipei are making 3-point shots, their whole demeanour, their whole body language changes.
Johnson trying to answer back with one, can't. There's a good follow through as well from Klimov, grabs the offensive board and a fresh 14. Johnson over to the far side, and they eventually do answer back with a three of their own.
And that's a backbreaker. Offensive rebound, number 19 for Kazakhstan, and it results in 3 points. We're out to 16. That's going to be tough to drag back in.
Hung off balance and able to make back-to-back threes, moves into double digits, and they are starting to hit from the outside, and they might just close the gap a little further.
I think now's the time for them to get their defense up the floor, though it looks like Hung may have rolled his ankle, landing on Jerry Johnson's foot.
He's hurt here, Hung. And back-to-back threes, moving into double figures for a man playing on 4 fouls. He's 4 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 from downtown. And this would be a huge blow if they were to lose him.
I was just about to say it could be time for Chinese Taipei to get their defense up the floor, see if they can generate some turnovers, but Hung is the leader of their pressure defense. If he's off the court, it's going to be difficult to achieve that.
Really awkward looking fall. Jerry Johnson didn't even seem to feel it. Didn't react to him dropping on his foot. That's how much it was just a slight contact that knocked him off balance and made that ankle roll. Kazakhstan with Jerry Johnson driving forward straight for the jugular, can't hit. And Quincy Davies from the foul line plays the pass in towards Wu. Wu with the hook shot, a little bit too long. Quincy Davies under the basket with the rebound and draws the contact.
And Kolesnikov was hanging all over Quincy Davis there, but just pure strength. He shrugged him off. Kolesnikov went flying to the floor. Davis gets the board and gets the free throws.
Surrounded by blue shirts, a great shot there.
That's what you call a man-sized rebound. You know, he would just wanted that ball.
The first one off the mark from the line for Quincy Davis, who hit his previous 2. Misses the opportunity to become the 3rd Chinese player into double figures, but he does move on to 9 points. 12-point deficit, final minutes of the 3rd quarter coming up. Jerry Johnson receives it back now, over to the far side. They'll try and feed it underneath to Klimov. And the shot won't drop. Quincy Davis there with a rebound on the defensive end as well. Pulls up for a 3 and knocks down the 3. Liu Chong makes it a single-digit game and now has 16. If it was a single-digit game heading into the 4th, it would be a huge psychological boost to Chinese Taipei. Jerry Johnson trying to answer back, and that's an absolute dagger.
Huge shot from Johnson, and the 3-point shot isn't the strength of his game, but he has a habit of making timely triples.
Only 3 of 12 from the field. 1 of 5 from downtown before that one. Quincy Davies, long 2 for him. Rebound from Wu. Wu looking to attack, can't force it in. And no time to get a shot away, but there's a foul. A travel called against Kolesnikov. The defense forcing the turnover.
Just a little lack of composure there from Kolesnikov. He's been involved in a couple of physical incidents, and rather than tucking the ball in, getting it to the guard, he was anxious to get it down the floor for the easy basket. We only got 0.3 left on the clock, but that's long enough for a catch and shoot. And with this Chinese Taipei team, anything's possible. We'll perhaps watch for a backdoor play for Davis going in for the alley-oop.
The time on the bottom of your picture there showing 0, but it is 0.3 remaining at the end of the 3rd. Quick catch and shoot, no good. And it is a 12-point deficit at the end of 3 for Chinese Taipei, who got within single digits after making a few shots from the outside, but a big shot from Jerry Johnson to make it a 12-point game again. Kazakhstan lead 58-46 at the end of 3.
And Kazakhstan with the habit tonight of just making those clutch shots when it matters. We see the 19 offensive rebounds, and of course that 19th one set up Kolesnikov for a 3 in the corner. And every time it gets back to 10 points or single figures or 12 points, there seems to be a 3-point bomb. We look at some of those other stats, 4 blocks, and it's been Quincy Davis inside who's been a big presence in that third quarter at both ends. You know, the offensive rebound and the intimidation at the defensive end. And that's the man there, Lin, who could make the difference in this final quarter. He's a potential match winner.
Lin so far with 8 points, 3 of 11 from the field. That one knocked down by Pavel Ilin. For Kazakhstan, he has 9 points. Lovely move from Jerry Johnson. He's only got 3 field goals, Jerry Johnson, from 12 attempts, but they've been big baskets. That one a highlight reel play, and then the 3-pointer so key right at the end of the third quarter.
Look at this move. In the spin cycle once, in it twice, and then a quick finish up before the big fella could elevate to block the shot.
I'm dizzy just watching it. You can see it time and time again.
Yeah, and that's what he's capable of, and Kazakhstan have done such a good job of using the shot clock, getting down. You see in this shot 5 seconds on the shot clock when they go from the corner, and that starves Chinese Taipei of oxygen. They want 10-second possessions where the ball's flying from end to end, and that's when they get in their offensive rhythm and they can knock down 1, 2, 3 triples in a row, and all of a sudden a 12-point deficit can shave away very quickly. So we'll see if Kazakhstan can maintain that discipline in this final quarter, but it's key that they don't turn over the basketball.
I saw Liu knocking down a 3-pointer right towards the end of that third quarter. 16 points for him to lead Chinese Taipei. 6 of 13 from the field, a couple from downtown. And Kolesnikov 16 points to lead Kazakhstan, who lead by 12 at the start of the fourth. Klimov back to Jerry Johnson. Over to the far side, I think that's a 2. It's over the basket anyway. And then a foul. Third on Klimov.
At the moment, you just feel that momentum has swung a little bit. You know, the crowd is getting behind Chinese Taipei. This is the moment where they've got to make a couple of shots and get a couple of stops and put that scoreboard pressure onto Kazakhstan.
Let's see if they can start to really apply that pressure here with Liu. So Quincy Davis, the fulcrum for the offense, waiting for movement around him. Hung able to pick it up here, pressed by Johnson over on the far side. Shot clock down to 5 as Liu puts it up, can't finish. Davis was there disrupting the defense. Lin grabbed it, couldn't put it in, but grabs it again. And then a foul. It will drop, but it won't count. Actually, a double dribble against Lin, who turns it over.
A wasted chance there for Chinese Taipei. 2 offensive rebounds. They've had 11 offensive rebounds since half-time. Quincy Davis with 4 of them on his own.
Quincy Davis with 9 points and 8 rebounds now altogether. Jerry Johnson receives it back now and across to Kolesnikov. To the foul line, over to that far side again. Nurgaliev driving towards the baseline. And a foul.
And we see that great patience against the zone defense. It's a European-style offense that Kazakhstan run. Shot clock down to 6, but there's no sign of panic. They kept moving the basketball, waiting for the right opportunity to open up.
6 seconds to shoot then, or 14 rather, after the foul. High catch, reeled in by Panamov. Now there's 6 seconds to shoot. And they forced that one up, still had a few seconds left and off the mark. And Chinese Taipei have a chance to make it closer again. High pass, entry pass in towards Davis, who pulls the chain for a big flush.
And that's how Chinese Taipei have to play this game out. We saw some trapping defense, which forced a rush shot quickly down the floor into the big guy, and we're back to 10.
11 points now for Davis. Kolesnikov driving under the rim, knocked away. Davis was there. Lin will bring it away. Liu on the charge for Chinese Taipei. They have cut it to single figures again. And we have a game on our hands. 8-point deficit, still 8 minutes to play.
We see the fast break finish, but it started from the defense, and 2 possessions in a row. We saw a double team early in the shot clock, trying to force Kazakhstan to play quickly, and it's paying dividends at this point.
That's 18 points now for Liu. 7 of 15 from the field. Kazakhstan forced to call timeout. They have led by as many as 18. And now it's just 8. And it's going to be a very close game, you sense, over the course of the final 8 minutes and 7 seconds. And a huge game, a potentially pivotal game. Almost a do-or-die situation for these two nations here at the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship. Some big performances for Chinese Taipei to help them start to overhaul this deficit. The 18 points for Liu, but 11 as well now for Quincy Davies, who's really started to come up big. 8 rebounds for him too. 10 points for Hung, who hit back-to-back threes not too long ago, and 8 points for Lin as well.
In the first half, it was Kazakhstan. They won the possession game. They had 10 extra possessions. So far in the second half, Chinese Taipei winning that count by 3.
Kolesnikov. Klimov able to move it on. It was a good open look, and they get the bounce around the rim and get it to drop.
And that's just a breakdown from Chinese Taipei. They can't afford to give away open looks.
Hung. Across to Liu. Now Lin. Quincy Davies there looking to cause a nuisance of himself on the perimeter. Now moves inside looking to receive the ball. And a 3-second violation, is it?
Offensive,
no, it's an offensive foul.
They've said Quincy Davis's hook trying to get possession. He looks a little bemused. And it was clear that Chinese Taipei wanted to get the ball inside. And we see him establishing position here. That left arm around the back, you know, maybe a little unlucky, but the call's made.
And then the 3 knocked down from the corner, right in the face of Quincy Davies by Ponomov.
And you could just feel the atmosphere sucked out of the building. The crowd were willing Chinese Taipei on. And once again, Kazakhstan with the answers.
Here's Davies, has to shake off the disappointment now on the offensive end, and does. Really bulldozes that one home.
Tough move.
13 points now for him. They're trying to trap Jerry Johnson here. Still Kazakhstan ball.
Just 3 seconds left to get the ball across the halfway line.
There's going to be more of a trap now. They are able to release Johnson. They get out of that tight situation, put it up from the foul line. No good, so a defensive stop in the end. A chance to make it a single-digit game again. Hung is going to try a 3-pointer here from a couple of feet back, can't hit.
And that did everything but drop it. On that last possession, Coach Strebkov was furious with his team. They broke the press, but they went for that quick jump shot. He wants his team to pull it out, take 20 seconds off the shot clock, and starve Chinese Taipei of possession.
Hung was 4 of 5 from the field before that miss. Actually hit his first 4, so he's missed his last 2 now. They've played out to the high pressure again, and a chance at a 3-point play for Dmitry Klimov, who gets the contact from Quincy Davis.
That's 5 fouls on Quincy Davis. He's out of the game, and that's a big moment. That's going to change. That's going to force a change of strategy. They're going to have to go to more of a fast-paced game, perhaps only have one big guy out there and roll the dice with some extra 3-point shooters.
So Quincy Davis fouled out with 13 points and 8 rebounds. One of the key players for Chinese Taipei. May just be, and it really is advantage now for Kazakhstan with 6 minutes and 33 seconds to play. They have the 12-point lead as well, and they will extend that from the foul line to 13. Hung almost losing the ball. Seng able to work it back to him. Liu from the outside. Big 3 for Liu.
And they've got to seriously consider getting him more looks. 21 points. When he's open, he's rarely looked like missing.
There's a Galiev. Gets it back in, moves it across to the far side. Chance to attack for Kolesnikov. A defensive stop for Chinese Taipei. A chance for back-to-back baskets now to get the momentum back in their favour. And a foul as Lin was bringing the ball down court.
You look at the Chinese Taipei zone, they're getting inside, and you look at the disciplined foul here from Kolesnikov. The Chinese Taipei zone, they're daring Kazakhstan to drive. They're getting into the passing lanes. They're backing their interior help defense to cover the drive. They're happy if early in the offense Kazakhstan attack and take a shot, gives Chinese Taipei the chance to launch some transition offense.
And after losing Quincy Davis, it would be such a huge boost psychologically. And of course, in terms of the points in general, if they could get this to single digits. Seng. Hung going to shoot the three. Back-to-back threes for Chinese Taipei. They fire another one from the outside. Hung now has 13, and it's a 7-point game. The atmosphere picks up in Chongsha again.
Back to a man-to-man defense on this possession.
Jerry Johnson almost lost it against Liu. Over to the far side. They'll take the long two, and they will quieten this crowd a little bit more.
Huge shot from Klimov.
I thought he had a toe on the line. They've called it a three, though. 10-point game. Liu midway through the final quarter. Liu looking for the pass into Seng. Wasn't quite ready for it. Still comes away with it. Still plenty of time to shoot. Hung's going to shoot from the outside again. Can't get that one to go. And then a foul on Lin. He's really frustrated.
And Chinese Taipei, this is where they miss Quincy Davis. You know, they're at a point where they feel they want to go to the three-point bomb. When you've got Davis inside crashing the offensive boards, you get that extra chance when it misses. This time they couldn't secure the rebound. And an unlucky foul there for Lin. But Kazakhstan, they just keep making the plays, don't they? At the important times, every time they're challenged, they step up and make the plays, and we see Johnson cool from the free throw line.
Chinese Taipei now over the foul limit, so the free throws for Jerry Johnson, which he makes the first. This is the second, so remains on 13 points and 6 assists. An 11-point game. Across the midway point of the fourth quarter. Chinese Taipei far from out of it. Lin looking to pirouette towards the baseline and is fouled by Johnson.
Chinese Taipei are going to win this game. They've got to get Lin more involved, but Kazakhstan have done a great job of crowding him defensively for most of the night.
Liu, 4.5 minutes to play. Onto the left hand, looking to ride a few challenges and drive inside. Shot clock's down to 3 here. Can they get a shot away? They can with Seng. He can't get it to go at the end of the shot clock. A foul on Hung. And that's Hung fouled out of the game. He'd made a really good impact since coming on. 3 3-pointers. And fouls out on 13 points. So they lose Davis and Hung.
And that's, you look at Klimov, 11 points, 9 boards. He's really been a bit of an unsung hero tonight. And his ability to hit the jump shot from the power forward position. Whenever Chinese Taipei have been scrambling defensively, he's been able to step up and make that jump shot.
If they are going to come back now, it's going to have to be a short-handed comeback. They've only got 3 players in double figures, and they've lost 2 of them. Davis and Hung both on 13 points. Pressure on the likes of Lin and Liu now to carry the team forward with scoring. Both foul shots missed though, so it remains an 11-point game. It is Lin who brings the ball up court. Trying to get away from Johnson. Able to find Liu, who's fouled on the outside. No, it goes the other way.
I'll be interested to see this replay. He's saying that Seng Wing Teng has pushed the defensive player into his own teammate as Liu was elevating.
See the left arm come out of Seng Wen-ting.
Certainly a very technical call.
Defender's already flying out. Was probably going to collide with Liu anyway. And there certainly was contact as well from Seng. Picks up his second, and that, as frustrating as any you'll get, would have been 3 foul shots potentially for Liu. Yorgaliev almost pocket of Klimov picked, and then whistle on the play, it drops, and it won't count. We've got a timeout for Chinese Taipei with 3 minutes and 49 seconds to play. Kazakhstan leading still by 11. It's been around that margin for some time now. 69 to 58, still plenty of time left, and they want to make sure they get things sorted out here, but struggling now with the loss of Davies and Hung, 5 fouls apiece.
Yeah, the game is in Kazakhstan's hands here. If they make their free throws, they don't turn the ball over, it's going to be very hard for Chinese Taipei to bridge that 11-point gap. But they're a team, if any team can make up this sort of margin in 4 minutes, it's Chinese Taipei, with their ability to get out in transition, finish and make 3-point shots. But so far tonight, the game plan from Kazakhstan has been superb. They've locked down defensively, they've been back quickly in transition offense, and their passing game, they've created open shots like that one for Klimov. And they haven't allowed Chinese Taipei to gamble defensively. You know, when they have regularly enough, they've stepped up, they've hit that jump shot just to take the air out of the building and suck the life out of Chinese Taipei.
They've just done enough to keep these lot at bay. Chinese Taipei have just under 4 minutes to turn it around.
2 shots.
A chance to extend the lead from 11 points here for Klimov at the line. And able to hit the first. Klimov with 12 points now today, 3 of 5 from the line, 4 of 9 from the field. And this is the second. Seng looking to set the screen. It goes to the corner where they get a good look. And they get another 3.
A defensive breakdown and an offensive breakdown as well on the inbounds pass.
Can they take advantage of it? They do at the third attempt. It's tipped in by Lin. And what a swing that is. 5 points makes it a 7-point game. There's the pressure again. Kazakhstan playing out to the pressure but can't hit the shot. Bounces away here and into Kazakh hands.
Oh, unlucky there for Lin. He had the ball knocked away, but I've just spoken about Kazakhstan holding their nerve. They have a defensive breakdown, leaving a 3-point shooter open in the corner, and then Jerry Johnson on the inbounds tries to throw the ball off his opponent and turns it over. And they've just opened the door a little bit for Chinese Taipei.
We've got a potentially grandstand finish on our hands here at the FIBA Asia Championships in this Group D contest. Very nearly a do-or-die contest. Whoever loses this one will face a real mountain to climb in terms of staying in the competition. They will be left to rely on others as well as having to win their final game. And at the moment it's Chinese Taipei who are down by 7, but they have reduced the deficit from as many as 18. They're in the ascendancy. The force is with them right now, so are the crowds. And it's Kazakhstan who've started to make a few mistakes.
Coach Strebkov in this timeout, he'll be preaching patience. He doesn't want quick shots. Pass your way through the pressure defense. Take 24 seconds off the clock. You know, reduce the number of possessions that Chinese Taipei can have. And at the other end, if it's a quick shot, it has to be a contested 3. Don't allow any early penetration.
It's almost as much about the mental attributes as it is about the physical attributes and the quality and the skill set down the stretch now.
2 shots.
Anton Ponomov at the line for Kazakhstan. Able to hit the first. As long as they can keep the scoreboard ticking over, then they can start to close in on a first win of these championships. Both good from the line for Bonamov.
It's so crucial making those free throws. Every missed free throw gives extra life to your opponent.
Kazakhstan 12 of 18 from the foul line tonight, so not shooting a great percentage. Getting them both to go there. They'll put up the three here. Chinese Taipei can't hit that one. They've had success from downtown in the second half. Hilin. Jerry Johnson. Hilin again looking to get towards the foul line. Back to Jerry Johnson. They'll take their time here. Running time off the game clock. Down to 6 seconds and a foul on Seng. Third on Seng.
Seng feels a little unlucky there. Johnson deliberately trying to draw the foul, and it worked. He gets 2 free throws.
Jerry Johnson has done considerable damage from the line so far tonight. These are his 7th and 8th free throws. He's only missed 1. And let's see if Kazakhstan can continue to hit them down the stretch. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the game. An opportunity for them to make it a double-digit lead again here. He misses the first, Johnson. And with it, just an extra glimmer of optimism for Chinese Taipei. Does hit the second, so it's a 10-point game. 2.5 minutes to play. Lin. Behind the back, gets into the paint, tried to find Wu, kicked out of bounds.
How about that dribble between the legs, but the reverse from behind, split the defense, and then almost gave off a nice assist.
And it goes to Seng. Knocked away and out of bounds, and a turnover. They can ill afford those at this stage of the game.
That's 18 turnovers for Chinese Taipei, and that's too many for an international basketball game.
Jerry Johnson gets away from 2 and able to cross half court. Pressed against the near side, found a way out of that situation as well, and then a foul on Wu.
And it seems like Chinese Taipei, if they're not getting that steal, they're happy to foul. They want to make this game as long as possible. And as long as, you know, the last couple of times there's been a free throw missed here and there, if that keeps happening, I think Chinese Taipei will continue with that strategy.
2 minutes and 13 seconds to play. And Kazakhstan back to the line again with Bonamov, who made a couple not too long ago. No mistake here either. All 3 of his free throws coming down the stretch, and he's made all 3 so far. A double-double, 12 points and 12 rebounds for him tonight, and he adds 1 more to his points tally.
And Kazakhstan have had a number of unsung heroes like that who have just done their job tonight.
Just steadily ticked over in terms of his stats, and those 5 steals as well. Out of bounds, still Chinese Taipei ball.
And they haven't given up on this game yet. Lin in particular, still attacking the basket.
2 key players fouled out for Chinese Taipei, but they continue to try and challenge here. They want to keep their tournament alive. Lin tries to thread the eye of the needle with that pass, and it's picked off by Jerry Johnson. It's looking like more and more of a struggle for Chinese Taipei. They move it really quickly. Kazakhstan up court all the way to Kolesnikov, and then comes the foul.
And a hard foul there too from Wu, but time is certainly Chinese Taipei's enemy at the moment. We see Wu here out of position. There was no way he was giving up a cheap 2 points.
And Wu is fouled out of the game with that one as well. So that's 3 of them fouled out of the game for Chinese Taipei. Wu fouled out, missing all 6 of his field goal attempts, didn't score. Kolesnikov can look to stretch the lead from the line with less than 2 minutes to play now. This is the first. Still far from over. Lesnikov does get the second, so it's a 13-point game. Chinese Taipei need quick scores each and every time now. Ling going to take on the three and knock it down. There's life left yet in Chinese Taipei, and they get the steal as well. Tian going to take on the three-pointer. Can't make it back-to-back threes, and that really would have made this a grandstand finish.
That was where Tian just had to have that patience. They'd got the steal. He's not the guy they want taking the three-point shot. He needed a dribble handoff to Liu or Lin, set the screen, give them the open shot or the open driving lane. And it's one of those situations where you may take another 5 seconds off the clock, but you get a much better shot.
Kazakhstan have been shooting free throws for a while now, and back to the line again with Ponomov. And hits the first. Ponomov 5 of 5 from the foul line now, down the stretch. 14 points in the game. Ties level with Jerry Johnson. And surpasses Jerry Johnson, second leading scorer for Kazakhstan. Lin straight away taking on the three and fouled by Ilin, so he'll shoot three from the foul line.
Chinese Taipei, they're not giving up, but I think, and we see the foul here, a light touch just after the shot, but he was still in the air, and the referees are told to protect the shooter in that instance. I think when you write the review for this game, it's that 18-0 run to finish the first quarter. That's just been the only difference between the two teams, and since then it's been neck and neck, but Kazakhstan with enough discipline just to keep their edge.
Double-double for Lin now, 14 points and 10 rebounds, and add on one more to his points tally. 3 steals as well, 5 of 13 from the field en route to those 15 points, 3 of 4 from the line. And one more coming. Make it 16 for him. Make it a single-digit game again. 87 seconds to play. Kazakhstan able to play out of the pressure this time. Need to get the ball over half court. Dribbled off the foot of Ilin. Sen picks it up and finishes. They've been caught 3 times now in their own half court, and a timeout call with 1 minute and 20 seconds to play. It's only a 7-point game.
And for so long in this game, Kazakhstan were a team with a plan, but just in the last couple of minutes, that poise has dropped away a little. And Chinese Taipei, they keep threatening to burst their way through the door, but they can't quite get through it yet.
They have just about been held at arm's length, but they're edging closer and closer. It's just about whether they're going to run out of time. As Kazakhstan call the timeout, leading by 7, which seems a fairly comfortable figure with 80 seconds to play, but they are slipping, and Chinese Taipei sense the opportunity. And they will certainly make Kazakhstan earn it from the foul line. They're only shooting 69% from the free throw line through the game, Kazakhstan. Been falling like flies today. 3 players fouled out for Chinese Taipei, a few injury concerns as well for various players on various teams. It's been a battle in the group of death. Jerry Johnson. Chinese Taipei going to let them play here. Jerry Johnson has a hand on him from Chen. Trapped here, Klimov's going to put it up from the outside, and that is the killer.
How many times has he done it? Klimov has been outstanding, and he knows just that moment to step up and hit the clutch jump shot. He's done it 3 or 4 times throughout this game, and it's going to make it very difficult for Chinese Taipei from here.
It's his first from downtown, but 4 of 9 from the field for 12 points for Dmitry Klimov. And that stretches it back to a double-digit game with just over a minute to play.
And he fouled out in 12 minutes last night, and I think he's been a man on a mission to make up for that. He was desperate to get his team on the board after they let a golden chance go last night in overtime.
There you see the foul trouble from Chinese Taipei. They've been having to deal with that for quite some time. 3 players fouled out, Liu on 4 fouls as well. Chinese Taipei with 4 players in double figures. 2 of them fouled out on 13 points in Davis and Hung. 16 from Lin, who's come up big in the second half. 21 from Liu, but Kazakhstan with 4 players of their own in double digits, led by the 17 of Kolesnikov. Final minute of the game, 10-point differential. And it goes towards Seng. Can't get the bounce, grabs his own rebound and puts it in. Trying to play away from that pressure again. And able to get it over half court to Jerry Johnson. Now there's plenty of space. Kazakhstan will just want to run down the clock here. Still 12 seconds on the shot clock. Over to the far side, wide open. They pass up the opportunity to shoot just to take more of those precious seconds away. Now they will put it up with a few seconds remaining and put it in. That's the absolute dagger that surely kills the game.
And that hurts Chinese Taipei in terms of points differential as well. Back out to a double-figure game.
That one off the mark. So that will do it. Kazakhstan will hold on to it now with the shot clock turned off. Down by 11 points, Chinese Taipei. They have threatened to get within touching distance time and time again. Got close, but just been held off. And it's been a fascinating back and forth contest initially, and then a punch-by-punch contest in this Group D battle. But it is going to be Kazakhstan who pick up their first win, and Chinese Taipei who fall to 0-2.
Later on tonight, Lebanon faces Qatar in this group, and Chinese Taipei will be hoping for a Lebanon victory, because then they can secure their second round victory with a win tomorrow against Qatar.
Jerry Johnson just holding on to it here, lining up the 3, trying to put the finishing touches on the win. That will do it. Kazakhstan pick up their first win of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championship in a do-or-die battle that has Chinese Taipei down and very nearly out. They need a few favours now. Kazakhstan move to 1-1 and give themselves a very good chance indeed of making the next round. Led by the 17 points of Anatoly Kolesnikov with 4 players in double figures. Kazakhstan win it 84-73 over Chinese Taipei.
Well, it wasn't quite the thriller that we were hoping for, like we saw last night, but it was an entertaining game, and it was so impressive to see Kazakhstan. As we look at their stats, you know, the shooting percentages suffered as the game wore on. There was a lot of intense defense out there tonight, and you could see both teams fatigued after some tough games last night, but Kazakhstan came into this game with a plan. It was to starve Chinese Taipei with possession. It was to use the shot clock. And for probably about 36 minutes of this game, they did that. There were a few wobbles down the road at the end of the game, but they held on, and they'd be delighted with an 11-point victory.
Well, you said it a little earlier, the 18-point run that took it to 23-5 in the first quarter. That was the killer for Chinese Taipei, because they won the final 3 quarters overall. They just lost that first quarter so heavily.
Yeah, and it was a case, and if you think back to that period, a lot of makeable shots which they missed, and their game relies so much on momentum. And we see there Liu with 21 points. He was outstanding, dragging them back into the contest. He was the one man who stepped up, made some baskets. Quincy Davis stepped up inside on the boards, but it wasn't enough in the end.
And they were missing 3-point shots in that first quarter as well. And we saw as they started to heat up how they could make those shots, and then the momentum started to swing. They just left themselves with a bit too much to do.
Jerry Johnson, you see him there with a lovely move to the basket. It wasn't his biggest game statistically, but his pace put Chinese Taipei on the back foot, and it wasn't until that last quarter that they really ripped the momentum back.
Jerry Johnson only 3 of 13 from the field for 14 points, but 8 assists, and he made 6 out of 8 of his foul shots. And Lin there, who scored big for Chinese Taipei, particularly towards the end of the game. That was the move of the game, no doubt about that. 5 of 14 from the field for him, 10 rebounds and 16 points, a double-double. Davis fouled out of the game on 13 points and 8 rebounds. It was a lot to deal with at that stage when they were losing players as well.
Yeah, and that was a key moment because they had the momentum. We see a lovely assist here from Johnson. They had the momentum, but Davis was such a big part of that with his work on the boards. And once he was out of the ball game, they needed to make almost all their shots to give themselves a chance. And that was too much of an ask late in the game.
You can see the frustration for Chinese Taipei, the joy for Kazakhstan. They win this one and take their first win of the 2015 FIBA Asia Championships.